Hi everyone, it's Kimmy. This is the video from our last camera club session. It was really large, the one I had, and I'm having to break it up into sections. So I don't know how many it'll take, but we'll call this part one. This is our picture of Holly that we're going to work. Let's zoom in. The first thing I'm going to do is clean up her face. You see we have our layer and it says background layer. Let's use Control J and make a copy of that. If you're on a Mac, instead of Control, it's always going to be Command. Let's zoom in. If you hold down the space bar, you get this hand and you can move your picture all around. You might find that helpful. I'm going to go over here on the toolbar and select the patch tool. If you're working in Elements, you'll want the spot healing brush, and we're going to use that also. So in Photoshop, you're going to select the patch tool, and you're going to make sure source is selected up here on the top. Let's zoom in real tight so we can see what we're working on. And you draw a selection around the bad area, and you just drag it to an area that you want to sample. So that's all we're going to do. This may take us a little while. You can do Control D to deselect. Let's see. Draw and pull. Let's use our hand and go around. Sometimes if you're too close, you can't exactly see everything. Okay, now I'm going to do that on the lines that she's got going on right here. She's always got these stress, frowny lines that I take away. And the only other thing I think I may work on is this section right here by her mouth. Take some of that dark, frowny part away. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I kind of like that better. I gotta keep checking my time. Bear with me here. Okay, let's go, and we're gonna pick the spot healing brush. You're also gonna want to make sure on the top that is checked to proximity match. In some instances, you may be using it with content aware, but for this, we're gonna choose proximity match. And what it will do is use your bracket keys to change your size of your brush that's selected. You want to make sure, let's go back a step. You want to make sure it's not too hard and it's not too soft. So somewhere in mid-range normally works pretty good for this. You want your brush only to be about as big as what you're trying to clear up. See, and when we click on it, all the bad spots go away. And what it does is it pulls a color and pixel match from something that's close. Let's see, maybe down here. Looking for another place to show you an example. Oh, how about right here? Let's make our brush a little bit bigger. And maybe we can get rid of this freckle. We'll go back small. And because her chapped lips, we can even do it a couple times on her lips. Just kind of smooth things out a bit. I don't know if it made it better, but it gave it an example. Okay, we're going to go with this and call this done. She just has that other freckle up here, but she's always got that freckle, so I tend to leave it. So this is our after, and we still have this dark spot right here, but we're going to be able to take care of that later on. So this is our before, and this is our after. It's not a lot of difference, but it is a difference. I do have the original saved because the action we run needs to be run on the background layer. So I'm going to go ahead and merge this down, and the shortcut for that is Control E. Check my time. I'm going to try and not go real fast and just break it up in different sections. The first thing I want to do with this picture now is go in and use the Liquify tool. So we're going to use Control J and make another copy. And we're going to go in and choose Liquify. We're going to use Control Plus to zoom in just a little bit. And holding our space bar down. Let's use Control minus and go out. We're going to select the Forward Warp tool, which is the one at the top. I have my brush density set to 23 and my brush pressure set to 43. And then same thing, you're going to use your bracket key to make your brush larger or smaller. Now in Photoshop you have the little X that's in the middle. In Elements some versions have that and some don't. You may have to kind of guess. And we're going to come over here and start, and what this does is it pulls the pixels. It doesn't really distort them, but it pulls them. And so we're going to give her big hair. Like if we'd have teased it up. And we're going to do a few things with the Liquify tool, but I'm not going to do them all at once. In case we make a mistake, we have each layer saved and don't have to go back and do the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to call that good enough, and I'm going to hit OK. Now, this is our before, and this is our after. It's not severe, but you can tell it's there. So let's go back in. Let's make sure it didn't alter her face any. Let's look real close, like where her eyes are. Yeah, if you had someone with straighter hair, you would want to do it on its own layer and then mask back in the normal face, because it may pull some of the face. So let's go back into Filter and Liquify. This time I'm going to use the Bloat tool. It says Bloat tool. We're going to do Control Plus and zoom in. Our space bar to move it back around. I'm going to move my brush so it's about the size of her eye from corner to corner. And I'm going to tap one time. And I'm going to do the same thing with this eye. And then I find this one's still a little small, so I may do that one again. Okay, I'm going to click OK. So it saves that change. And here's our before, and here's our after. I'm going to go back in and make one more change with the Liquify tool. And this time we're going to use the Pucker tool. Let's do Control Plus and zoom back in again. And you notice I've never changed my settings here. With this one, we want to go along the edge where the contours are on her face. And I'm right on the inside. And you see how that was too much? Can only undo one step. So we're going to do Control Z. Let's go back. It's still going to do it every time. Maybe my brush is too large. There we go. We'll do it in small steps. And what we're doing is this kind of brings in the sides of her face. And she by no means has a big face. But it gives you something else to learn to do. Back over here and make sure it looks real smooth. Okay, and we're going to click OK. Now, this is our before, and this is our after. You can kind of see the pucker part just about right there. It smooths it out just a little bit. Okay, let me check my time. Okay, this is going to be the end of part 1.